Good morning, Bobby Lee here from Hurricane Creek Farms. Well, I really don't know what we're gonna do in this video today. We've got a bunch of things we need to get done, like kind of always. Kind of primary goal for today is to get some fertilizer spread on our creek bottom ground where we planted that grass about 2.5 weeks ago. But we did catch a little rain yesterday. I actually hadn't looked at the gauge yet, see how much. I'm optimistic that it didn't rain too much and it won't be too muddy, but we'll see. If not, we got a bunch of other odds and ends we need to get done, and really some stuff we got to get done regardless of whether or not we end up putting down fertilizer as well. But appreciate y'all watching. As always, we appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, that's even better. Let's get after it. Well, I guess the first thing we're going to do this morning, because the cows cooperated, they had gotten out here into the wrong pasture. I don't know if you remember, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 videos ago, we found a hole in the cross fence we weren't really too worried about because it was just cross fence. Well, they wanted into this pasture, so they found that spot and came in over the last day or 2. And so, and then back into the back pasture again, because that's where we've got a little bit of hay put out for them. But it is some older hay that we knew they wouldn't be as crazy about, but wanted to try to get them to eat a little bit of that up before we started feeding, you know, this year's, you know, little more palatable hay. But anyway, so we're gonna run back there real quick, patch that hole, check on that creek bottom ground, see how wet it appears to be. I don't know, it may have rained more than I thought. I need to look at the gauge, but they cooperated relatively well this morning, so we'll get that done. Got that little spot patched. It wasn't nothing to it. Was not video worthy in my opinion. Anyway, most of them are out there now. You can see they went straight to the hay, so why they didn't just stay in that pasture to begin with, yeah, take somebody smarter than me to figure that out. But anyway, got that little job done. Let's walk out here. We'll see how dry that bottom ground is and decide if we can get over it with a fertilizer buggy without rutting things up. So you can see, you got a good stand. It's a little bit of much greener. I actually planted just a little bit of oats there for just a wildlife mix. Just a couple of passes right there with that. But you see, grass is really coming up very good. I could not be much more pleased with how it looks. The sun's starting to peek over the trees there, but they're really looking good. And I think it is going to be just fine to get fertilizer put on it for, yeah, it's not too muddy at all. Might be a couple of low spots we have to kind of avoid a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and text a buddy at Helena and be sure they've got a buggy available. Should be. I wouldn't think there's a lot of folks doing a lot of pasture fertilization stuff today. Maybe it's a Tuesday, but it's gonna rain, I think Thursday or Friday. I think Friday's a better chance, so it'd be good to go ahead and get that down in front of that rain. And 2, if I didn't do it today, I was gonna hope to do it on Saturday, and obviously if it's gonna rain even more, maybe too muddy to do it for sure by then. So, but that's gonna be our next thing. Actually, we got to stop on our way to Helena. We'll stop by and check on the stocker steers, and then go get a little fertilizer. Here's a good example, because they didn't cooperate today. We were moving the creep feeder, but calves in there eating, enjoying a little creep, and we're pretty close to getting them weaned here. Just a few more weeks. We can go ahead and do that now, but just logistically on getting them, you know, moved to the other farm after they've weaned and whatnot. We want to wait till all those other calves are gone. But yep, they're in there enjoying them a little breakfast. Went to the feed store yesterday and got minerals, so I need to get that off the back of that truck there, so we can head up the road, get that fertilizer buggy. We also, something a little bit new, but we spread all this red road rock out here, and it just, stuff in here where it stays dry, it sets up like concrete, but every time it gets a little wet, which of course got a little bit of a low spot there to it, it gets just real sticky. So we're gonna put at least that 1 load of limestone on top. That's just something we'll have to get to whenever we have time. We can get that off there, and yeah, I guess then we'll be ready to go head up the road. Love having extra pallets laying around for purposes such as this. Try to work smarter, not harder. Another project on the to-do list. Let's get the hay off that trailer. Of course, if you watched the last video, you saw us baling and loading that. Get it stacked over there in the horse barn. And if I was a smart man, I would have done that this morning when it was about, or right now, it's about 55, 60 degrees, because in typical early fall fashion, I think it's gonna be in the mid 80s by this afternoon, but that's not a super pressing priority. We may even do that another morning later on this week before I go to work, or this weekend even. I think it's supposed to cool off a good bit by this weekend, but we'll get that stacked in the barn. But right now, primary objective, fertilizer. All right, made it back from Helena. Got the fertilizer buggy. She ain't loaded. Yeah. Got that in there. I'm gonna get the tractor hooked up to it. And in the past, whenever I would make the trip up there, just because it's about a 45-minute drive or so, I'd go ahead and just get a buggy loaded, make it worth our time. But fertilizer prices right now, woo buddy. I got what I needed. Actually, we got enough to cover about 25 acres, and we only have about 20, but we want to make sure we have plenty. Yeah, fertilizer prices are Hunter Biden level high. High enough they make him look sober. But get the tractor out of here, hooked up to that, and get that spread, and then take the buggy back up there. But I didn't film anything with stalker steers. I was on the phone the entire time, sorry about that, but they look about like they always do in previous videos. They came up to feed, gave them just a little feed, and yeah, they were in good shape. But moving on. So getting this spread, everything's coming out pretty good so far. Fingers crossed. We don't have any trouble or little breakdowns. So when I was picking up the buggy, they said they were going to be closing early today, about 3 o'clock. It's just now type of noon. So I hope to goodness I'm back before 3, but you never know. But things going good. Try to get the camera mounted back there. You can see it coming out. You can't really, I can't even really see it. You get into the shade, you can, but the sun's so bright. Again, it's one of these typical fall days. The sun's shining bright now. It's done warmed up, and it's pretty hot right now. All right, the obligatory filming as we cross the bridge. Just on the off chance that something disastrous happens. Could be incredible content. Okay, made it across, no issues. We like that. Okay, so we're about halfway over everything. Looking out here in this biggest part of this bottom, probably appreciate even through the dirty windows. Got a really pretty good stand. This stuff's coming up really well. Of course, there's some, a little bit of other vegetation coming up. It's not as desirable, but been real happy with the stand we've gotten with this mix. If you didn't watch the planting video, which was maybe 2-3 videos prior, you ought to go back and watch it. But this is a grass clover mix. It's fescue and orchard grass and both red and white clovers. And so the fertilizer we're putting down, we soil tested. It's called for, I believe, 30 pounds of phosphorus, 60 of potash. We added just a little nitrogen as well. You know, they're funny about the nitrogen recommendations when you have the clover and the legumes in there, because they, of course, make their own nitrogen. You don't want them to be out-competed by the grasses, but obviously we want the grasses to thrive too, so put just a little nitrogen down as well. But yeah, fertilizer is just so high. I looked at our ticket for fertilizer today and then invoice from our seed cost. We're actually going to spend more on fertilizer than we do on seed. Not a huge difference, but it is more. Spending right at $100 an acre on fertilizer, which don't even try to do that math and make it pencil out. It won't. Which of course we're trying to get this pasture established, so we want to give it all the advantages we can right now. We certainly cannot do that every year in terms of spending that much on fertilizer. We will certainly plan on fertilizing this annually at least, but but we'll have to either come up with some alternative, methods, products to put down, or we'll just have to be more conservative in how much we put down at a time, because that's just not, economical to spend that much. I mean, you don't make enough, per acre return, just running a cow-calf herd. But anyway, enough complaining. We're gonna get the rest of this put out and then get this buggy returned. I think I'm gonna get a little drone footage. I hadn't done that in a while. See if I can get it up and going and get some good footage of us doing this. Yeah. Size of this horsefly. I think it's like a 747. We're gonna kill him. Got him. Actually, I don't know, this may make me like really evil. These things are so painful and nasty and hard on all the animals. I kind of prefer just to pull a wing off and throw him back outside. So now he has to lay there and suffer. I don't know, but maybe I'm like deep down, I have like some serial killer tendencies or something. But an animal that's that torturous and mean to my livestock, I want them to die a slow, painful death. Whatever. And I don't want y'all to think I'm a psychopath, but I just really feel that any insect, animal, whatever that brings that much pain and suffering to my livestock and to myself even occasionally deserves a quick, painless death. There's nothing humane about them, and so I can deal with giving them an inhumane death. But anyway, just wanted to clear that up. I don't think I'm really a psychopath. The buggy is empty, which means this little job is done. Just got to get this piece of equipment returned back to the fertilizer plant. Then back disengaged, ready for transport. Get it hooked back on the truck and get this returned. It's just now 1:15, so gonna have it back before 3. And then I don't know what else we're gonna do. We thought about maybe spreading that gravel. We might do that. As hot as it's done got, and I'm not gonna unload that trailer full of hay. We'll do that one morning. That's cool. I've got a tree I need to cut and get out of a pasture over there. I don't know. We're gonna come up with something else to do because we should be back home. By the time we run it up there, we might go by the NRCS office and drop off some more paperwork for all this. We should be home by 3:30, 4 o'clock, maybe at the latest. It's gonna leave us a little while to get some more stuff done. Well, good morning again. We got that fertilizer buggy returned to Helena yesterday afternoon. And then really just did some other odds and ends, didn't do any other filming, mowed the yard, just some little chores. Decided we'd go ahead and unload this hay this morning. Kind of wished I'd done it yesterday morning because it's about 15 degrees warmer today. I think overnight low barely got below 70 last night, so, but still not a big deal. It's a good bit cooler than it was yesterday afternoon. Gonna get it stacked over here. I don't think it'll probably quite all go unless I really come completely all the way out and all the way up to the rafters there, which I'm not planning on doing that. But whatever's left, depending on how much is left, we'll decide what we're gonna do. We'll either stack it over there in another barn on some pallets, or may just leave it on the trailer, take it to my brother. But we'll get this done. good little morning workout. Some days I get up about this time and go for a run. But two birds with one stone today. Got my workout in. I got something checked off the to-do list. What time is it? 5:20, so not too bad. About 40 minutes to do that, 120 bales. You see, come over here and let me stall. Front stack, leaning out just a little. They were kind of all starting to creep that way. I don't know, may come down here and find a mess one morning, but of course for the first 4 stacks, they're squeezed in there pretty tight between the walls. So it shouldn't be too huge of a risk. We gotta get that trailer. I'll probably back it out there, sweep it off, and the horses can eat that hay. Sweep all this out of the hall of the barn where they can eat it too. But yeah, got a lot of stuff done. Oh, one thing I mentioned in the last video, have not yet mentioned this one. If you listen to podcast, check out Talk Dirt to Me. It's a ag-based podcast my cousin and I host. We just started it. We should be an episode or 2 in by the time this airs. But he comes at it, he row crop farms, so corn, soybeans, wheat, that kind of thing. Of course, us doing the beef cattle, kind of giving, you know, a younger generation's perspective on industry issues, you know, barriers to entry, you know, all sorts of things. We don't know what all we'll cover. Some days it may not even be completely limited to ag, but check that out anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I don't know, I'm sure there's others, but yeah, Talk Dirt to Me. But anyway, that's probably gonna about wrap it up for this video. Got yeah, the project of getting that fertilizer put down was big. That essentially completes our grass planting, getting that grass going for next spring, maybe next fall, we'll see how it does. But look forward, a little chance, today's Wednesday now, a little chance of rain tomorrow, better chance Friday, I think even a little chance Saturday. Hope to get at least a 1/4 inch or so on that to put that in the ground. But who knows what we'll be doing in our next video. We're gonna be spreading some ryegrass, just overseeding it in some pasture at some point. Getting ready to wean some calves, getting ready to sell our stocker steers, which that's gonna be a little bit of a chore because we got some of them we're gonna have to round up and be sure we get with the other group, but should be some good stuff coming. Appreciate you watching. Again, if you're still watching this long and you're not subscribed, you should be subscribed. Also, if you've hung in here this long, certainly you liked it, so give it a thumbs up. We appreciate you. Hope everybody has a good day. As always, eat beef and God bless.